Hey, alright, welcome to the Tuesday show. My name is Ultra David.
And I am James Chen. How's everybody going?
We're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff tonight, most especially, probably talk about Spider-Man Infinite a lot. There's a lot of tournament results to talk about. There's a lot of other news too, but I briefly just wanted to address the Vegas shooting.
Yeah.
It took place in the Mandalay Bay area, which is like right where we were.
Yeah, literally.
For EVO.
The gunman was on a 32nd floor, broke a window.
Yeah.
From the Mandalay Bay corner room.
Yeah. So that might hit home, I think, to more people than these shootings often do, because for many of us, we were there. Mm-hmm. Either we were at the Mandalay Bay or we watched what happened at the Mandalay Bay, right? Either live stream or you were there in person. Probably everybody on the stream was doing one of those two things. So that, I think, probably hits people more at home. And there's a lot of people in the FGC who live in Vegas. There's a big Vegas contingent.
Justin's gaming house just moved to Vegas. Yeah. Flo just moved to Vegas as well, so they're all over there. I saw another FGC person say that they knew a friend who was there at the concert, and he survived, but some of his coworkers did not.
Yeah. There's a company that organizes a lot of big events in Vegas that my friend happens to work for. He actually moved out there in part to do it. And he's not the only one. Apparently there's an FGC dude who works for either the same company or like a similar organization company. So they were all there. And, you know, it's wild to hear reports from people who were there about how it was. Again, I feel like this shooting may have hit closer to home for many of us than these shootings often do. There are so many of them that I'm sure at this point almost everybody's been touched by something in the U.S., but this one was probably closer to home. So just want to say condolences to everybody involved. If anybody out there knows somebody who was there at all or was, hurt physically, very sorry to hear it, and best wishes for recovery. But it's not just people who were hurt physically. I can't imagine what it would be like to be running for my life and seeing people's heads explode. And I mean, I don't know how that is. I can't imagine that you recover from that quickly, mentally speaking.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing too, I see some people in chat talking about, moving to another venue or something like that, but I just don't even think that should happen. Because this happens all the time. Again, it's an act of terrorism. Like, if you are scared to go back to the Mandalay Bay, then that means they kind of did their job. You know, in a weird way, you kind of have to persevere through it and continue forward with whatever it is that you were doing before. So I don't see any reason to move the venue.
No, and it's just as likely or unlikely that it would happen in any other venue. There's nothing. Mandalay Bay is not the reason in any sense for this having happened. It's just where it happened to take place, and it could have taken place anywhere. It's a really tough situation. Guns in our country are it's a wild topic. It's very hard to know how to address it. But I really think that something has to change. I understand what the Second Amendment says, but
I don't think most people do.
Yeah, I think you may be right about that, and including the idea that it's a personal right to hold and bear firearms was only endorsed at the national level like 6 years ago, like during the Obama presidency. I forget, it's 2009, I think was Heller, maybe 2011, one of those two. Very recent, and that idea at all is like from the 1980s. Like the first law review articles about that idea were from like my lifetime, your lifetime. It's not an old idea. It's not like some ancient tradition. It's very recent. But there's been awesome propaganda to make it seem like it's always been this way.
Right.
And it's not. It really is not.
And you know what the funny thing is? Someone actually pointed out kind of the irony of the whole situation, that a lot of people are like, this is a great country. We have freedoms such as the right to bear arms and everything. But here's the funny thing. The right to bear arms in the Second Amendment was put in there on the provision that this isn't a great country. Because, it's kind of put in there in case the government ever goes foul, you have the right to fight back. And back then, guns were the way to do that, right? Like nowadays, I think
it was reasonable, I guess. But
social media, I feel like, is more powerful than that now. You know, in a weird way.
The right in the Second Amendment is. In my view, reading it, I think it's very clearly tied to the militia aspect and not to the individual right. And again, that's a very recent idea anyway, the idea that it's an individual right. But look, it's something that we have to reconsider. I understand that tradition is there, even if it's only 30 years, it's a tradition, fine. But you gotta reevaluate things sometimes. And if the only reason to keep it around is tradition, then that just doesn't seem like a good idea at this point.
Yeah.
You have to reevaluate everything. I mean, some of my all-time legal heroes are the Jewish lawyers who fought for the right of the Nazis to march in Skokie, Illinois, a very heavily Jewish area.
Okay.
Because I've always thought that the right to free speech was like one of the major bedrocks of American political society. Mm-hmm. But I have to admit to myself now that doesn't seem to have really worked. The reason to keep one of the reasons to keep free speech around, philosophically speaking, is that there's like this marketplace of ideas, and free speech that is either true or that is, you know, less harmful, whatever the qualifier is, will win out in the end over speech that are lies or whatever.
Right.
Else.
Okay.
That's like a big philosophical underpinning for it. But I have to admit that seems like it's not panned out at all. It seems instead like lies are everywhere still, and
it's almost like they're stronger than ever.
Yeah, there are Nazis and KKK, and we haven't done anything about it, and they are there to the same degree that they were 50 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I have to reconsider whether my strongly held idea is worth holding anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't know, it's something I'm going to be thinking about, but the same kind of thing has to happen for the Second Amendment. It really does. It has to be something that you reconsider. I've gone to gun shooting ranges. I think it's fun to shoot, but that's not the same thing as whether you can carry around and I mean, the dude had an automatic gun, which is either he modified something.
It was a modified.
Was that news.
It was a semi-automatic, and
you can modify it.
They put a special stock on there that basically helps you fire it much faster. Basically,
right. So, you know, it's just something that we have to think about, or else this is just going to keep on happening. Because it doesn't seem like there's any other way around it so far.
And the hardest thing about it is, like you said, the lies are spreading a lot more. Social media is really powerful right now. So, you know, before you go retweeting anything, just make sure first, you know, I mean, for example, using a completely alternate topic, yes, and R.I.P. to Tom Petty, who I think is an amazing musician.
Sure.
But people reported that he had died like 6 hours before he had died, right? But as soon as it came out, everyone just retweeted it and went crazy. As soon as I saw the news, you know, I immediately ran to CNN and tried to find reports, and there were no reports on it, so I waited, et cetera, et cetera. You know, just using that as an example, just, you know, make sure you take the due diligence. And again, you know, this should just be something that I think everybody should do, but don't retweet an article based off of headlines. You know, always make sure you read it. And,
try to,
you know, and just get a good idea of what's going on in there. You know, social media is dangerous. Let's just put it that way. I really think it is.
I hear that. It's not, I mean, it's like factually impossible to overcome the federal government. I don't know if that's a good thing. Probably it's not. But it's impossible. And so, I don't know, I feel like I want people to take things like that into account. Guns can be fun. That's cool. It's not the same thing as being able to carry around guns or an assault rifle. It's a very different thing. You can go sport shooting, and it's not what we're talking about here. Plenty of countries in the world have guns and have access to guns and don't have the easy access to guns that we have. And although they have violence, they don't have mass shootings in the way that we do.
Right.
Or we can continue to have mass shootings. I don't know. That's probably how it's going to go. But anyway, I really don't think that it's on Mandalay Bay to have more security. I really don't think it's on tournament organizers to have more security. There are so many things that we have to do and consider as a result of having guns everywhere that I think we just got to look at the underlying issue, which is that guns are everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, I think you probably are going to keep your guns. I mean, probably so, but I'm not sure if that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure about the mental background stuff, too, because they said that the guy, when he purchased his weapons, he had passed all mental background checks.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Oh, I just want something to be done about this, because that definitely could have been you and me. Easily enough.
Yeah.
Easily enough. So.
And,
all right.
And again, like I said, people that we know, like literally knew people who were there. Like I saw Flo talking about that. He knew someone who was there. And
my buddy was there. His coworker's in the hospital now. I mean, it's,
Okay.
All right, cool. Yeah, gun sales always go up after things like this. That is true. And that's a major bummer.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. Oh, before we do that, I just wanted to briefly mention this. Mono from Puerto Rico, the guy who organized his first attack, obviously they're going through a very tough time in Puerto Rico. I just wanted to say hello to everybody down there some of them are starting to get internet back and electronics back. Mono's one of them. And he actually hit me up on Twitter yesterday or the day before on DMs because he didn't want to think that he hadn't paid us yet. The commentary fee.
Oh my god!
Really? I was like, my man, please take care of the 1,000 other things that are more important. Please don't think about that.
But Jesus Christ!
Please don't think about that.
More important things to deal with.
Oh my god! I was like mad that he mentioned it, to be honest. But anyway, I hope things are going better down there. It sounds like for some people things are starting to get better.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of terrible things. And what is it, the mayor? Well, who's the what's the official title? She's just been running around and like diving in the waters.
The mayor of San Juan, the city that we were in.
Yeah, so shout outs to them and to everybody who is trying to do something down there, to help them.
For sure, but yeah, dude, take your time. We'll be fine.
Yeah, paying us. Jeez, dude.
Yeah, but he's a very good guy. He's a very good guy, and he's very business-like when it comes to, he wants to get things taken care of. I get it, but you got a lot more stuff to take care of first.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's talk about fighting games. What do you think about that?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk about fun, cool things like Spidey Infinites.
Yeah, all right, let's talk about this Spider-Man Infinite in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Yeah, okay, look, I'll start off this whole thing, and again, everyone's going to be telling me that I'm a shill or whatever like that, but I said months before the game came out, I was like, if we don't find anything broken in Marvel, it's not a Marvel game. And I said, when we find the first broken thing in the game, don't freak out.
Not if, but
I said, when we find the first broken thing, do not freak out because it is a Marvel game. It's like I said, MVC2, we found Air Hyper Viper Beam × 5 in the first day. We found Thanos dash roundhouse into bubble, roundhouse into bubble, roundhouse into bubble, on day 2.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, there is infinites all over the place in every game, and even in X-Men vs. Street Fighter, there were infinite combos in there, and then Capcom released an arcade patch at the time.
Did they really?
Yes, to patch out some of the infinites, and they got rid of 3 infinites. And the other 67 still existed.
Oh my god! Yeah, I didn't know about that. That's very stupid.
Yeah, there were older versions where Ryu could do hop kick and chain it into jumping jab. So it was literally hop kick jab, land into hop kick jab, land into hop kick jab, land, and you could just basically loop that. So they got rid of that, and then they got rid of Cyclops' Fierce Infinite, which spiked people to the floor instead. But Wolverine's roundhouse was the same, and he could still pretty much do the exact same Infinite.
I never knew about that.
Yeah, they didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know of that game as having many, many infinites. I didn't know that they had taken any chance to.
Me and David Dial, who was so I wrote the X-Men vs. Street Fighter combo fact. He wrote the X-Men vs. Street Fighter Infinite fact.
Okay.
And he basically had the best point of view of X-Men vs. Street Fighter, is that he considered that to be Capcom's best puzzle game, because all it was trying to find the infinites for every character. And I think only one character didn't have a good infinite. It was Bison or something. But really? I think people eventually found one anyway or something. So
that's funny. That's a funny way to do it.
Yeah.
Or a funny way to view it.
Yeah.
Well, so the way that it works in Marvel Infinite's Infinite is that you throw out the Reality Stone, and then you throw out the Web Ball. And basically, Web Ball traps them. I guess it's the opposite. Web Ball traps them, And then Reality Stone comes, and then Web Ball hits them again, and they're trapped again, and it's that just looping, looping.
The way that they tried to kill the infinites was that if you Web Ball a Web Balled person, that they flip out. There's a different reaction. They don't get webbed again. And they were like, you know what? The Web Ball has such a stupid, slow startup. It's like, Web Ball!
Yeah, it's very slow.
So, like, to them, there was probably no way to ever knock them out of the web into a web ball.
Right.
But they forgot to take into account the Reality Stone. And let me relate to... So, one of my greatest FGC friends is Derek Daniels, right? Omni, who works at Sony and works on games and stuff like that. We met through the X-Men versus Street Fighter combo fac and through like Marvel superheroes because we were all obsessed with combos.
Okay,
right?
all right.
So keep that in mind. Like we are from this background of these versus game infinites and doing all these crazy things.
Sick.
I met Derek this past weekend. We were hanging out, and I was like, "Oh, they found a brand new Infinite in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite." And he was like, "Oh, really?" And I was like, "Yeah, it involves Spider-Man's web ball." And he was like, "It always involves Spider-Man's web ball." It just made me laugh because he's right.
Capture states,
the web ball never has. They've never been able to figure out how to make that thing work properly.
And this is not the only game where capture states lead to crazy stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, in NRS games, capture states have led to like semi-infinites / on inescapable resets. You know, I mean, that's...
Or even the weird one where you could like net them with a punch and then punch net them or something like that.
Yeah, you can trick the combo counter. There's always issues with capture states. So finally, we found it, and it took like a week and a half, 2 weeks, I guess.
It's just long. I'm surprised it took that long to find an infinite in this game. Because even Mike Zia said it too. He's like, when he first designed Skullgirls, he wrote this big article about how every fighting game that has tried to circumvent infinites has failed. And literally he just went through like game by game, like this is how they failed. And so he was writing it because he was saying in Skullgirls he was going to do his best to prevent infinites, which so far he has. So...
Yeah, well, you got. Yeah, man, it's it. I guess it did take a while, really, when you think about it. A couple of weeks of people experimenting. There was the thing that Mike Z found, which was the Ghost Rider Infinite, but that was already, I guess, gone in the PC version by the time
the first patch. Yeah,
in the first patch, right? Because that was pre-release. That's true. So the first patch already got rid of that. So that one took a little while. Anyway, we know what the Infinite is. What are your thoughts about this Infinite? What do you think?
It's interesting because it's like some people are like, "Hey, look, I found a way to set it up with my Spidey team," and I was like, "Dude, find me a team that can't set it up with your team, and then I'll be impressed." Because it's too easy to land. It's too easy to land. The tag system is just going to make it so that your character has a way to set it up.
I
just think that's just the rule.
You're right.
Right? So, as a result, because of that, and the fact that it's slow, and it's stupid, like, I don't like it. Like,
okay. All right.
I know, like, fighting game community has rocked infinites before in the past, right?
We have allowed infinites many times.
Like, let's talk about the TAC Infinite. I argued that it shouldn't be banned. Right? Okay. Because it was, one, you had the chance to escape.
There was always a mix-up of the TAC beforehand.
Right. And then, two, it would only kill one character.
Only a third of your team.
Right, instead of half of your team.
Right.
Right? So, I didn't feel like it was... I didn't feel like it was worth banning until we really saw... And I wasn't sure how easy it was to do, you know?
Yeah, many of the first ones that came out were hard to do.
Yeah. The Spider-Man Infinite, although I will honestly say I've tried it, it's not as easy as it looks.
Okay.
That you really need like a magic distance.
Right, sure.
You need the perfect distance because if you don't, any delay, the hits and deterioration will get them to fall out.
Right.
So it's actually a little bit harder than I think people give it credit for, which is the only reason why I might think we could let it rock. Okay. But someone was trying to argue to me that wobbling was the same as the Spider-Man Infinite.
Silly.
And if you get good at this Spider-Man Infinite, I can guarantee... I basically said, I'm like, even with wobbling, in a top 8 melee, you will never see wobbling except like once if there's an ice climber in top 8. I was like, with this Spider-Man Infinite, you're going to see a top 8 full of Spider-Man Infinites.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not like wobbling. Wobbling takes off 25% health, right? If you kind of think about how the stocks work.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's not a half of your life, which is a character in Marvel Infinite. It doesn't take as long. Like, it's not as obnoxious for you. It's just not the same thing at all. I don't think it's a good comparison.
And if you had the ability to punch the enemy, knock out the gem, and punch the gem and break the gem, maybe we could talk about this, right? Because you could kill Nana, and then Popo was helpless.
Oh, I see what you mean. You know? Yeah, sure. Well, I guess that if you take out Spider-Man or his teammate, you're probably going to make it... Again, not the same thing. It's really not the same thing. So I don't think that's a good analogy. Well, if you don't like it, would you ban it?
I probably would.
You would?
Yeah, because one of the news items that we have here is that Capcom is aware of it. They're looking into solutions for it, right? And so it's not going to stay anyway, so let's get rid of it. Let's just not play with it, because it's not going to be a long-term strategy. Why ruin a couple of tournaments, for the sake of, hey, we're FGC, we don't ban infinites, you know what I mean, when it's obviously going to be patched out.
I mean, it's not true that we never ban infinites.
Yeah, we have banned.
Sure, we've banned non-banned infinites.
Yeah, like, for example, the Dead Body Infinite in Marvel 2 was banned almost immediately. If people don't know what the Dead Body Infinite is that if you killed the opponent, there was a way to juggle it forever. Basically, like when it goes, and they land on the ground, you could dash low short, dash low short, dash low short, dash. You could do this until the time ran out.
Yeah, just a timer scam.
If you really felt like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it hadn't been banned, then that's what people would have done. You would have gotten a character kill and then just do that, and that was the end of the game.
Right.
I think it was Cross Tekken, if I recall correctly, that it was an infinite, and we just said no more than 3 loops. It's like easily enough.
Yeah.
Like it's not like an accidental thing. Like you are doing the infinite, especially the Spidey infinite. That takes so long. Like you're clearly doing it. It's easy enough to say only a few reps. So you would ban it.
I would ban it. Yeah, I would ban it. What about you? What about you? I know. Like I'm all for the interest of like making the games more interesting and more interesting to the players. I know you're a lot more hardcore than that.
That's true. Well, I don't know. Am I more hardcore than you? I don't know.
I'm
not sure that's true. I'm not sure that's true. But in any case, I don't like it. I would... Here's my rationale. If this were 10 years ago and there were 50 people in tournament and nobody else watched, then I would probably say let's keep it. That's fine. It doesn't matter that much. Because that's sort of like how I approach games, and I think how the FGC has in general. Whatever, it's in there, let it happen, no big deal. We get used to things, right? But I think we have to do things differently in this era. It's an era of viewership, and we have to adapt. It'd be, I think, silly and self-defeating to not adapt. I don't want to like give up all of our core.
Personality.
I don't know if we have like an ideology, but yeah, we have certainly a personality. And I don't think we are doing that, by the way. But I am okay with changing things like whether we ban infinites, things that like I'm not super. It's not like a core part of my being or a core part of the FGC. I'm okay with changing that for the sake of viewership, essentially.
Yeah, it's interesting because I even
That's pretty much what it is. I mean, it's so boring to watch. It takes so long. That's really my problem with it. Like that's like people will stop watching. I think that's a reasonable reason to ban it. What are you doing? Are you playing stuff?
No, I'm not trying to do. I'm just trying to like.
That's really it. Otherwise, I don't.
That's my background right there today.
Oh, sick! Yeah. Very nice. By the way, I noticed after watching a lot that there are 3 or maybe 4 web ball animations.
Oh, really?
Yes, like the actual like pulsating mass of webs once it actually hits the guy. There are 3 or 4. I couldn't quite tell. It was like kind of hard to notice for me.
Okay.
But yeah, there are a few, and you could see it slowly pulsate right before the reality stone then hits. Because like it's like starting to move, and then go reality stone. And
I mean, look, I still remember when CVS2 first discovered role canceling. And there was a big discussion, and everyone wanted to ban it.
Yeah.
Like, everyone universally wanted to ban it. Ironically, it made it a better game, right? We didn't know at the time.
Right.
But the reason why we wanted to ban it is because it was just stupid. You made everything an uppercut, only if you were good at one frame plinking kind of thing, right? So everyone's like, this is dumb. The only reason why it wasn't banned is because it was impossible to ban.
Yeah, you wouldn't know if somebody even accidentally did it.
Right. Like, if you jumped at Bison and you did Psycho Crusher and it hit the guy out of the air, the guy would be like, you roll cancel, and the guy like, I did it. Maybe the jumping guy just hit it too late, and there was literally no way to be able to ban. With this, it's kind of obvious.
It's very obvious.
It's a little obvious.
There's no doubt about it.
It's a little obvious.
And I think that another difference between this and TAC Infinites in Marvel 3 are that although most TAC Infinites, some TAC Infinites are very long and very boring, all right? For sure. Yeah, definitely zips. That takes.
Actually, I don't even think that was a TAC.
It's not.
You
It's
can
not.
just
But
do it anywhere. Yeah.
it
Dante's took
particular
forever.
setup. Yeah, Dante's does. Chun's takes forever, and we've seen that with Ryan LV. Like he takes forever. But most of them don't take forever, right? Most of them are like reasonably fast. Like there's like the character's actually moving around. It's not boring looking. It's not just like. So I really think that for me, the reason to ban it is viewership. That's it. As a player, I'm not more upset about getting infinited than I am about losing a character from a combo. Like that's not more obnoxious to me. It's like from a player perspective, I feel like it's not that dissimilar. But from a viewership perspective, it's a big old bear. It sucks.
Especially with a game that's sold as poorly as it is already and has as many people against it already. Like, why add this into it just to give people even more reason to like hate on it when especially it's going to get patched out anyway?
Almost certainly going to get patched out. You know, I think there are a couple of different ways to view that. You would say it's going to get patched out. Let's just get rid of it anyway because it's going to be patched out. So let's just jump the gun a little bit. Some people say that we should leave it up to Capcom to do what they want to with their game, and until they do, or unless they do, we should just play the game as it currently is. I think that's like the opposite view. Like both the same reasoning. Capcom's going to change it, so until they do, like let's just
well, if they're going to change it, we'll just wait till then to stop doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's true. That's true.
I don't know.
It's interesting.
I'm not very persuaded by that, but I'm also not. I mean, I don't think that this is the same as should we ban giants or not, or like should like X strong character be banned or whatever. I don't think that's the same thing at all. Or as you said, the role canceling, all different stuff.
Right.
So I think it's easily enough gotten rid of, and probably nobody would miss it.
Well, here's my question: how would you fix it?
How
if
would
you
I
were
fix
Capcom,
the game?
how would you fix this infinite?
I mean, you could just do the NRS thing and say if you do a second get over here in a combo, they just fall out. They just they're on the ground.
Because I mean, there are legitimate web ball combos that you can put them into web ball like 3 times, like legit combos. And so if the second web ball knocks him out, it'd be kind of a shame.
Hey, maybe the fourth one knocks him out. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't need to be the second one, but whatever. It's...
My suggested fix was just because they already have it. Per character, they have their own wall bounce limit. They have their own ground bounce limit, right? So per character,
that varies by character.
Yeah. So basically, if you use a ground bounce and then you tag, the other guy gets a ground bounce.
Oh, I thought you. Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like Spider-Man can do more ground bounces.
Oh no. Yeah. So each character has their own ground. Although the OTG is a universal mechanic, but the ground bounce is not, right? And so because of that, I just said if specifically one character, lands 2 reality surges in one combo, they flip out like the Power Stone. Because Power Stone does the same thing. If you Power Stone them and Power Stone them again, they flip out and do the undizzy animation. And why not? I mean, people are going to go reality switch reality and then 2 hit, right? And if you leads into a combo, you start going into it. Who's going to put a reality gem at the end of their combo, which is punishable on hit anyway? You know what I mean? Like, nobody's going to put 2 reality surges in a combo with one character. Like, if you do, you deserve to have them flip out because you're an idiot, because that's like the worst thing you could possibly do with your combo. Because it gives you absolutely nothing except your negative on hit. Like, I just don't understand why you would ever want to do that.
Yeah, I guess that's probably a better fix than to the web ball itself.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Because literally, I think that changes nothing about the way the game is played. Because no one's going to hit a reality gem, come in, pow, 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 reality surge. Like,
Right.
what are you doing?
For sure.
So,
yeah, that makes sense. But, they'll get rid of it. I mean, we already knew that they would keep their eye on things. And if anything too wild popped up, that they would patch things. So that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are talking about a bunch of things like how Dante seems like really, really good and he's broken. But I don't know if people saw the video, but while you block his $1 million, right? If you block the $1 million, he goes shoot, 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 turns, shoot, 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 shoot. So one of the systems that people are not taking advantage of enough, that because I've been researching this game a lot, is that all projectile push block stun is like a fraction of a second. Like, here's normal projectile block stun, and if you push block it, it's this long.
Right.
That's why you can get out of Dormammu vibes.
Right.
Right? Because it's block, 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 block. If you push block right when you block, then your push block stun is shorter, so you have a gap to jump out, right? Okay. Someone actually showed a video that you could push block the last hit of the initial flurry of gunshots, and when he turns around, you can actually do stuff in between. Like some guy tagged, like was just like push blocking and mashing tag, and it would boom, and the tag would come in, and then he would just like use easy super to bust out a level 3, and it would just blow up Dante in the middle of the gunshots. Like, there are things that people haven't figured out in this game yet, and like Gamora lockdowns when she like does the gun. Like, I found this gun loop and I was losing to training mode. Like, I programmed Gamora to do this gun loop, and I was just dying because I was like, I don't know how to stop this gun loop. And then I remembered that push block really shortened the project, because like at first I was blocking, I was like, this is a true block string infinite, right? So how do I get out of this? Oh, I have to push block just this one bullet so it reflects the shot. But actually, if you reflect any of the gunshots, you can just super jump right out of there. Like, I tested it was a block string, and then I didn't think about it, and then when I push block, I was like, wait a minute, the block's not so short. It was like push block, jump, like instantaneously. So there's going to be a lot more things about this game we're going to discover. I don't think like Gamora, because you can't push her away because you can't push block projectiles. Yeah. That's how it works. And her jumping short, her standing short, all those stuff is projectiles, so when you push block, she doesn't go anywhere. But as a result, then it's super short, so now you can escape easier. So someone I think it was Al Yoon told me that if Captain America ever shield slashes in your face, you just push block and kill him. Which makes me really sad.
Okay, yeah. So, I guess probably the same with Nemesis Rocket, which I've been using to keep myself safe a lot. But okay, that makes sense. Yeah, dude. Obviously, the game is gonna change a lot. Every game does. It's every single game ever. Right. So I'm sure that Marvel Infinite will be the same. When Gamora starts jumping around, all I do is that quarter circle forward punch with Nemesis. Oh yeah, armor. Just coming in like that. I thought you would just invincible. Call Lariat, dude. Well, if she's closer in, then yeah, for sure. Lariat does hurt me, so I don't want to do that all the time. But because there are definitely some games where Hagar basically dies because I'm just spinning constantly, and I realize, that's not actually a great idea. Oh man. Awesome. Yeah, of course the game is going to change a lot, even without patches. Right. So I'd be in favor of banning this. It sounds like for Canada Cup, it's not going to be banned, barring some different word from Capcom. Right. That's what Lapchi said, the organizer there. Or if they patch it by then, obviously moot point. Yeah. But
honestly, though, I'm wary of Capcom coming in and going, you know what, ban this Infinite. Because I feel like that gives them too much power over the tournaments and stuff like that. I don't want to have that kind of situation. I don't want them... Like, I know we'll probably talk about this later on, but there was the TFC situation that happened with Smooth Viper, some people reached out to Capcom, and Capcom's like, we'll look into this, but that's dangerous too. Like, I don't know if Capcom should have anything to do with it. Like, I think that it should just be a matter of the TOs, unless it's like specifically like some crazy CPT points disparity.
Well, that is a battle for the stone.
TFC was not.
No. I mean, I'm sorry, Canada Cup.
Canada Cup is, yeah. Okay, that's true. So I guess they could do something.
I think for that. But I think otherwise, I agree with you. I want to have, like, federalism of tournaments. Yeah.
Again, this just goes back to our conversations long ago, just about not being worried about governing bodies.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody likes a governing body. Yeah! funny with respect to the conversation we had at the start.
I know, right?
Anyway, yeah. Angelic said that if it's not banned, will show up with his Firebrand Spidey team and just do it constantly, and I totally believe him. Yeah. And I think other people probably would too. I will tell you this. I think last show, we're talking about how Spider-Man nobody's playing him.
But then everybody...
I go online, and I'm terrible, so I'm at, like, the worst ranking. But everybody's playing Spider-Man even still.
Dude, you know what the thing that made me mad was? Like, everyone was like... I mean, from the tournaments, nobody was using Spider-Man. So I was like, I'm going to go on ranked and play. And, like, the first 5 teams I ran into all had Spider-Man. So I had Spider-Man mirrors going everywhere. And I was like, what the hell? I thought I was picking, like, the rare character. But it turns out everyone's using this character even before the Infinite was found. No. Because I just have a cool reset. Like, I have a sickle reset. Okay. And I'm so proud of this reset. But, like, because I can kill a character off of 2 bars, 1 reset. Right? It's just
pretty cool.
And the funny thing is, it involves the web ball.
Of course.
Catching people with the web ball. But, like...
Well, I'm mad that everybody's playing Nemesis also.
Yeah.
In fact, I played, like, 3 Spider-Man Nemesis teams this morning.
Really?
Yes. Nemesis Spider-Man.
So, in other words, they're jacking both of our characters.
Yeah. Well, they both seem like good characters.
Dude, I did want to be a special snowflake with Spider-Man.
Dude, I picked Nemesis Agar thinking nobody else would play it. I was apparently wrong.
I mean, to be fair, the nice thing about this game is that all the characters are really, really cool. And they all feel viable, except for Ryu. Maybe Chris. But Ryu, like, I messed with Ryu, and I was just like...
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem great, but we'll
see. The only thing that he has is the fact that his level 3, when he's about to die, will kill you. So I feel like Ryu is made for the Soul Stone. So basically he dies, bring him back to life, he hits somebody...
Does it do more damage if he's low on life?
Yeah, that's when he suppresses the Hado. Otherwise he goes, Shin, Shoryuken. If he's almost dead, he goes, boom! Ha! And then he goes...
Right.
And that's why Olaf is... So far, only with Ryu Power Stone, no assist, has been able to break 10k in damage just because of that super.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
That's a funny face. Well, anything else to say about Marvel Infinite's Infinite?
If it's allowed at Canada Cup, let's see a top 8 full of. Like, if it's going to be in there, I want it to be the worst thing humanly imaginable.
Yeah, I kind of like if it's legal, I would like to see it.
But also, I bet you,
not that many times.
I bet you people are going to drop it more often than you think. Because, like I said, when I tried it, it strangely wasn't as easily brain dead as I thought it would be. So we'll see. Maybe I just didn't practice it enough. I literally tried for like 15 minutes, and I was like, whatever, this is boring. Let's move on. So, okay. Well, do you want to take a break? When we come back, we'll start talking about tournament results, including the Dueling Dragons and TFC and all that other stuff.
A lot of stuff to talk about. Basically, every continent had something.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Be right back, guys. Split.